Well, the MCU put out another trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Yeah, I liked the Ant-Man movies. Other people not so much. And I didn't even see the second one. Oh, it was so woke. It wasn't as good as the first one. But I didn't. You got to make more of an effort to make a movie truly woke. And of course, a lot of lack of effort is also required for woke movies. So it's a bit of a conundrum, but but just having Wasp in the title now, that wasn't enough. And then the villain was the ghost character, which I do believe was a gender swapped character. Stuff like that. It just wasn't enough to kill it for me, you know. But I liked it okay. But it's just, I don't know. The Ant-Man movies just weren't as popular as some of the others. Oddly enough, when there were others that I thought were far inferior to it. But whatever. So it was another one that I was somewhat looking forward to. The one I was really looking forward to was the Doctor Strange film, and well, so hopes are not too high for this one either, especially after seeing the Marvel product that they've delivered. And at this point, the only thing that I can say was worth a damn, which of course was Spider-Man, but that's like an aberration at this point. It's a strange anomaly. But the D plus shows, well, Ms. Marvel and to a lesser extent Hawkeye. That's it. You had moments here and there in some of the other shows, but yeah, well, I've been through that before. Loki was one. I mean, you had Tim Hiddleston there and all this stuff, and for what he could do, he was good. He's a good actor. But that was just a colossal waste of time. However, it had its moments, and it did introduce the character of Kang. And long since known that Kang would be the villain of the Ant-Man movie. And this is introducing him because this opens the doors to so many other possibilities. And whatever happens in this film, whatever seeming victory Ant-Man and his ant family achieve, it won't be total victory, as Kang is going to be, I think. He could go to the level of Thanos, but we'll see. But anyway, but especially since the Loki show demonstrated that he was practically God in his other form, which just sort of undercut everything MCU had achieved and whatnot. And it's just they're so stupid a lot of times. They don't catch their own ginormous plot holes, despite being universe-sized. Of course, it's so big you can't see it. Well, no, I saw it. A lot of people saw it. It's just like the blip and all that, and the stupidity of it. And they just try to laugh it off. That's not going to go over so well, because the laughing it off ends up being like She-Hulk, which, a show that disrespects its audience, disrespects its source material, and disrespects itself, and says it's silly. And that's not going to cut it. The other thing is well, you see all the bells and whistles of massive CGI, the CGI fest you've seen in Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness and Thor: Love and Thunder, and it's just an over-dependence on it. It's just, yeah, whatever. And then some of it comes across looking rather cheap, where it's just, they're obviously standing on green screen, and, the animated stuff does stuff in the background. But for the narrative set by the Ant-Man films and the quantum realm and all that was groundwork for something. I don't know that they really intended it to be what it's going to be, but thereabouts. And so there's a connectivity to it as it slowly develops from one to the other. And now it's all out. Balls to the wall. Well, maybe not so many balls. In the quantum realm. And this is a means by which Kang hatches his plot, and he's sort of the devil of the story, giving a Faustian bargain to poor Scott Lang. And of course, it's the wrong choice. They pretty much told the whole story, and then Scott's got to stop him. But in doing so, he loses his great wish that Kang had offered him. But it's the heroic thing to do. And there you go. But will he fully succeed? Not really, because Kang is too powerful of a villain with his abilities over time and whatnot. The other interesting things, of course, are the Easter egg teasing. So MODOK does appear in there very briefly. There's rumors about who will be the MODOK character. I don't know if that's true or not. I'll maybe delve in that later. Other rumors suggesting that the Fantastic Four might actually make an appearance here, or more hints to their eventual arrival. One of the things about Kang is that, as I recall, that it was insinuated that he was a descendant of Dr. Doom, but others said no. They established that he was actually a descendant of Reed Richards. So then this came up with the idea, well, since they've race swapped Kang, that means also Reed Richards would be race swapped. And a lot of, maybe not a lot, but a couple of actors were suggested it might be in the running for the role. All of whom probably would have made a good T'Challa if they would just allow the character to be recast. I mean, Thunderbolt Ross is going to be recast, so why not Black Panther? But whatever. Then the latest I saw something about Adam Driver possibly being Reed Richards. Yeah, whatever. Either way, even with the race swap of Kang, it doesn't necessarily mean that Reed Richards has to be black as well. I mean, hey, families, they cross over, and so you could just throw that in there and say that's what happened. And then there's the multiverse aspects of it in and of itself. I mean, the John Krasinski thing was just for a cameo. I doubt that he'll be cast as Reed Richards, despite a lot of fandom wishing he would be. But so could they appear in it? I don't know. Looking at the movie poster, there's 4 figures in spacesuits. They're all holding ray guns, so maybe they don't have their powers yet. Could that be the Fantastic Four? And they're trapped in there. There was rumors that they would say that the Fantastic Four were from the 60s and were, colleagues of Hank Pym, Michael Douglas's character, and that he meets them as well, just like he was reunited with his wife after she'd been trapped in there for so long. And that they had gotten trapped in the quantum realm, and this would explain their powers rather than the cosmic ray stuff. The ultimate comic book version was they went into the negative zone, which is if you're familiar with Fantastic Four lore, that was the means by which they got their powers. So a combination of the two could be that yes, the quantum realm would be utilized as a means by which they get their powers, but it adds on to now they have to come to a world that they don't recognize, and they'd be like kind of taking from the Captain America story of people out of time, that kind of thing, which you get too far afield from what the story is. I don't particularly like things like that. If they had just done a period piece, but there's no mention of them, you can't retroactively do unless, of course, hey, Kang changed everything. So the Fantastic Four had been around all along, and they disappeared, and now they're back or whatever. It's too much. It's all kind of messy. Be nice if someone could figure out a clever way to knit it back together. I'm dubious that will happen. It's just your best hope is you get a few good films here and there. Maybe this will be good if they can keep it in keeping with the others. But again, it's not as popular as the other films. I don't know why, but it isn't. And yet it is opening up this new direction they're going to establish multiverse aspects leading to, I guess, Secret Wars. So that's what they're doing there. So I wasn't overly wowed by it. I think it gave away the plot pretty straightforward. If you saw the trailer, if you want to pass the movie, I guess you can. Just, I don't know, what would the in credit teaser be? That'd be the only thing, but you'll see that pretty quick afterwards. So and then the CGI fest, it's just the glut of that, and getting tired of it. And after going through 2 stinkers like Doctor Strange and Thor, which, yes, they were worse than those. They weren't as bad as, God forbid, Eternals, but still, they were a bit of a letdown, especially Doctor Strange. And so my expectations are greatly lowered, so maybe I'll think the movie's really great when I see it. But because I did like the Ant-Man films, I will see this one. But there it is. Going forward, I guess probably their next biggest successes will be the Guardians movies, which I wasn't a big fan of, but I understand why people like them. I like the second one better and all that. But and then Deadpool, and then after that, the other films probably. I don't know, but that's pretty. That's so you got two there that might bump things up a bit so they can limp along, in the hopes that they can restore to something. I don't think it can get back to its former glory, even with bringing Robert Downey Jr. to come back and do a scene or two, that sort of thing. But so anyway. I guess expect the worst and hope for the best, or however that goes. Expect the worst and it turns out to be really good, then you get a nice surprise. That's something. Yeah, that's what to hope for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.